The Curse of Moll Dyer, Leonardtown, Maryland. Moll Dyer was a resident of Leonardtown, Maryland in the early 17th century. Townspeople would secretly visit her cabin in the woods for various remedies. Yes, you guessed it, Moll was a witch. One day, for some unexplained reason, probably someone died from one of her remedies that didn't work, she was accused of witchcraft. One cold winter's night, the town formed a posse and went out to the woods to her cabin. They set Moll's house on fire, hoping she would burn inside, but little did they know Moll saw them coming and ran off into the woods. Unfortunately for Moll, that night happened to be one of the coldest nights that winter, and she was found several days later frozen to death. It is reported that when they found her body, she was kneeling with one hand on a large rock and the other reaching for the sky, frozen in place. Many believe that she was placing a curse on the land at the time of her death. It seems the land around her cabin never again would grow crops, and there have been an unusual number of lightning strikes recorded there. Legend says that Moll's spirit still haunts the land, looking for people who forced her from her home. A white dog has also been mentioned as causing accidents on Moll Dyer Road. In 1972, a large boulder was found with what looked like a handprint on it. Many believed it to be the handprint of Moll Dyer. The boulder was moved to the old jailhouse and eventually moved to St. Mary's Historical Society building, and it remains there today. Legend says the boulder is cursed. Anyone who goes near the rock is said to experience dizziness, eventually leading to fainting, and if you touch the rock, bad luck will follow you. The Witch's Tree, Whayleyville, Maryland. There is a tall, gnarly old chestnut tree in the burnt swamp. Legend says a woman was tied to this tree and killed for being witch, and that she placed a curse on this tree. Eventually, the swamp burned to the ground with nothing left, not once, but twice, with the only remaining tree in the swamp was that gnarly old chestnut. Reports say that strange things happen around the tree. Lights appear and disappear, apparitions of faces appear in the tree, and even screams can be heard throughout the swamp. Many say that the curse was placed on the tree by the witch, and that is why the tree never burnt in the fires. The curse is said to have been bad luck to anyone who touches the tree. Today, the tree is nothing more than a stump that people have spray painted. It has succumbed to a storm and fell across a dirt road in the swamp. It was cut up and placed along the road opposite of the stump. Although there is no longer a tree there standing, legend still remains that it is cursed, and strange, unexplainable things still happen in the area of the stump. Uneasy feelings like being watched are reported, and whatever you do, do not touch anything that is left of the stump, or the curse will follow you. The Goatman of Bowie, Maryland. One of Maryland's several cryptid legends is the Goatman. Goatman is half human, half goat, who is said to have once been a researcher at the Agricultural Farm Research Center in Beltsville. At the time he worked at the center, he participated in various experiments with goats. Legend says that one of the experiments went wrong and somehow the researcher was infected with something. He quickly went insane and ran from this facility into the woods. He grew all of his hair until his whole body was covered and is said to once live in a shack by a bridge on Fletchertown Road until one day teenagers burned it down. Goatman is said to still live in the area and roam, tormenting people and killing and decapitating animals with his axe. He is also known to throw rocks and bricks at passing cars. Chessy, Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. Whether land or sea, Maryland has a variety of cryptid legends. Chessy is a serpent-like sea monster that is said to live in the Chesapeake Bay and is very similar to the Loch Ness Monster of Scotland. It is reported to have flippers as part of its body and is somewhere between 25 feet and 40 feet. There have been several reports, pictures, and videos of this monster. Jericho Covered Bridge, Harford County, Maryland. Jericho Covered Bridge was built in 1865 and is one of Maryland's last remaining covered bridges. Some parts have been reconstructed, but the bridge remains some of its original pieces. According to local legends, people driving across the bridge have claimed their vehicles would mysteriously stop in the middle of the bridge, and when they would look up, they would see feet dangling from overhead. Some locals say the hanging ghosts are a teen couple that were told they could not be together, so they hung themselves from the rafters to be with each other for all eternity. Other legends say the hanging ghosts are those of lynched runaway slaves. There have also been reports of a ghostly woman crossing the bridge carrying a basket of freshly cut flowers, and several paranormal investigators reported seeing a young woman with a badly burned face. Other strange reports from the bridge includes a large gray monkey-like creature with a large tail and a red-eyed demon protecting the bridge from any unwanted visitors. There have also been reports of blood-curdling screams heard near the bridge. The Blue Dog, Port Tobacco, Maryland. Just after the American Revolutionary War, a soldier, Charles Sims, came into some money. He and his faithful blue-tick hound went to town to a local watering hole one night. Charles ended up having too many drinks that night, and he started to boast about his newfound wealth and the deed he had to the property. He also said that he had these things on him. This caught the attention of many at the bar, but one man, Henry Hanos, took an extra interest. When Charles finally left the bar, Hanos followed along with a couple other people. The group jumped Sims and his dog along Rose Hill Road, killing them both. Hanos then took the treasure and buried it beneath a holly tree and fled the scene. When Hanos came back to retrieve the treasure, a ghostly large blue dog came out of nowhere howling. When the dog charged Hanos, he fled again. Mysteriously, a short time later, he fell sick and died, never retrieving the buried treasure. Legend says anyone who comes to the rock and the tree at night, where Sims and his faithful companion were murdered, a large blue ghostly dog will appear howling and charging anyone who gets too close to his master's treasure. Snallygaster, Frederick County, Maryland. The Snallygaster is another of Maryland's cryptid creatures. It is reported as a half-bird, half-reptile, with a metallic-looking beak lined with razor-sharp teeth. Some reports also claim it has octopus-like tentacles and enormous wings with claws like steel hooks. The name Snallygaster came from the German immigrants of the area, Schneller Geist, meaning quick ghost. The Snallygaster is reported to swoop out of the sky and snatch people and animals for his food. Dwayyo, Frederick County, Maryland. Any Marylander knows you can't mention the Snallygaster without talking about its mortal enemy, the Dwayyo. The Dwayyo is a 6-foot-tall, wolf-like creature with dark fur covering its body. It has a bushy tail, a snout like a dog, and stands on 2 feet and walks like a human. There have been many reports through the years of it being seen mostly in the Gambrel Mountain area. The Dwayyo is said to attack anyone who gets too close and has been reported to kill pets and sometimes livestock. The Dwayyo and the Snallygaster have also been reported to battle it out on several occasions when the Snallygaster dared enter the Dwayyo's territory. Point Lookout State Park, Scotland, Maryland. Point Lookout was the location of the largest Civil War prison camp, with more than 50,000 Confederate soldiers held there between 1863 and 1865. It is estimated that about 2,400 soldiers died in this camp. There have been several reports from the state park. A few residents on the ground have reported hearing muzzleloader shots, but when it was checked out, there was nothing. One park ranger reported seeing a man sitting on the side of the road, dressed in what he thought looked like Civil War type clothing. When the ranger went to check on the man, he mysteriously disappeared. The most well-known haunted spot in the state park is reported to be the lighthouse. Built in 1830, it was a 1.5-story wood and brick building, and about 1883 another story was added. Disembodied voices have been reported here. One of the voices is thought to say, "Fire if they get too close," and another is a female saying, "My home." Many believe the female spirit is Ann Davis, wife of the first lighthouse keeper. Apparitions of Ann Davis have also been reported. She is dressed in a white blouse and blue skirt and stands at the top of the stairs. Other apparitions have been reported of being soldiers from the Civil War. There is also one room in the lighthouse that always seems to smell of rotten eggs. Glendale Hospital, Glendale, Maryland. Glendale sits on over 200 acres of land about 15 miles outside of Washington, D.C. Its doors opened in 1934 as a tuberculosis hospital, and by the 1950s, as cases of TB declined, it is said it became an institute for the criminally insane. Many patients have died here, forgotten about when the facility finally closed its doors in 1981. There have been reports of smoke seen and smell coming from the old crematorium, as well as strange moans, whispers, even screams of agony heard throughout. People have also reported seeing apparitions of former patients wandering the grounds, the most common being a man in a straitjacket. There have also been reports of wild dogs on the ground. Today, Glendale is rapidly deteriorating and is closed off to the public. The grounds are patrolled regularly by security and police.